for this class, we'll start on all fours. We're going to just go right into it. So come onto your hands and your knees. Spread the fingers wide, really being mindful of digging all 10 fingertips into the mat. Go ahead and untuck your toes so you can feel the tops of your feet and your shins firmly rooted. Notice what's going on in your low back and your belly. If you're kind of dipping and dumping everything in, can you just lengthen through the sides of your waist? Feel that engagement of your mula bandha, that's your pelvic floor lifting in and up. And then soften the front of the throat, breathing in and out through your nose. Can you add a count to your breath? Feeling maybe 4 or 5. Inhaling. And exhaling. Once you've got the rhythm going with your breath, go ahead and add some cat and cow. As you take your next exhale, begin to press into the hands. Tuck your chin to your chest, tip your tailbone down. Inhale, let the heart and the belly sink toward the floor as you tip your tailbone high and lift your gaze. Open your eyes. Exhale, tuck and round. Feel the shoulder blades really protracting here, spreading away from the spine. Then inhale, back into your sway back cow. Exhale, last one here. Inhale, coming into your cow pose. And then come on to your forearms here. So it might even feel kind of good to roll the wrists out here for a second. And then feel the palms firmly root, spread the fingers wide, press the wrists down. Go ahead and tuck your toes under. Lengthening the tailbone, draw the belly button in, and walk the toes in. Go ahead and let the head hang heavy as you just press the heart away from the floor. Again, continue to press into the forearms, the wrists, lift the tailbone high, relaxing in the neck, breathe in, breathe out. One more inhale. And as you exhale, lower the knees to the earth. Walk the hands out and the hips back, child's pose. Breathing in, expanding through the back body and the side ribs. And exhale, let it go. Next, we'll just come right into our downward facing dog. Walk it out as you get into it, pressing one heel into the earth and then the other. Nodding the head yes, shaking it no, maybe even wagging the tail. And then come into some stillness, breathe it in. Lift the tailbone high, no matter how bent your knees are or how high your heels are. See if you can press through the arms, through the shoulders, into the hands. Then exhale, steady yourself here. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Try to keep the hips and the shoulders squared to the mat and to each other. Really dialing the toes down. See if you can actually tuck your chin closer to your chest and look back and up at your toes as you sweep them back. And then exhale, step that right foot to the outside of the right hand. Lower the left knee and untuck the toes. So your right toes are angled out at about 45 degrees. And we'll just kind of rocking here side to side, getting into the hips, keeping them low to the earth. Maybe you rock the hips back and walk the hands back. I'm coming onto my fists here just to release out of my wrists. Roll the right toes to the sky. And so this is similar to our half split, but the foot is a little wider out, so you're getting a little different of a sensation in that hip. You're still reaching both hips back and leaning the heart forward as you take deep, big breaths in As you walk it forward, plant the hands, and we'll sweep the left foot out as you take the right foot back, side plank here, right hand to the sky. And you got all kinds of options here. You can pick up that right foot, reach up through the right hand, maybe even bend into that right knee and get a big front body stretch in this supported Shavasana. And if kicking into the foot ever creates any pinching in the low back, obviously try not to kick so hard, but really engaging that low belly, like deep down in the pelvic floor, can help alleviate some of that. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then as you exhale, we'll release, and we're gonna step that right foot to the very top of the mat. Try to hover it off of the floor as long as possible, so you're really engaging this outer, the glute medius here as you control it all the way up. Finding that half split here. Now the hands frame the front foot, flex the front foot. Breathe in. Exhale, walk it forward, bend into the front knee. Plant the hands, three-legged dog, sweep the right leg all the way up. And exhale, both feet to the mat. Come high onto the toes. As you inhale, big spine all the way forward. Tuck navel to spine, navel to spine, navel to spine. And then lower yourself all the way down. Untuck the toes. Take the hands just outside of the mat. Press the tops of the feet down. Press the pubic bone in. Squeeze your glutes and lift. Exhale, come down. Two more with your breath. One last. Hands underneath your shoulders, big, strong, press to plank here. Tuck the toes, engage everything you can. And last thing is you draw the navel to the spine. Nothing left to do, but press the floor away, that's all. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high. And again, same thing here. Hips are squared, shoulders are squared, looking underneath. See if you can really take a gaze at those left toes. Press them into both hands. And exhale, step the left foot to the top of your mat. Untucking the right toes, and again, maybe you're on your fist, maybe you're on your hands. Just kind of rocking here, side to side, getting into your hips. See if you feel your shoulders are starting to creep up to your neck and to your ears, hunching into the upper back. Allow them to just rest, fall away. Feel the chest and the heart kind of lifting up and forward. So it's not so much about cranking the shoulders back, but it's more about coming from the center to lift out. And then let's rock the hips back, and again, finding that sort of at an angle. Half split, the left foot is flexed. Breathing in. Same concept here of trying to resist the hump back, the lifted dome in the upper back. Really allowing the shoulder blades to grip onto the ribs and slide down. Last breath here. And then we'll walk it forward, spin the right foot out, and take your side plank on this side. And again, all of those options apply. Maybe there's one that I haven't even thought of that you're feeling called to do today. Maybe even this idea of just sweeping that left foot forward and then sweeping it back before you come into that Shavasana. Just for a little bit of a waking up of your glute medius. And again, zipping up the low belly to support the back, the heart. Last breath here. And then we'll slowly take that left foot all the way to the top of the mat. Really lots of control here. And whatever kind of has to happen along the way to get it there, that's okay. You know, sometimes this left hand becomes a counterbalance and it's coming back. Find your half split, breathe in, fill in. Breathe out. Another inhale. And the exhale, we'll walk the hands up. Stepping three-legged dog, three-leg left leg high. Both feet land. Inhale high onto the toes. Ripple the spine forward. Ride that wave. Lower it. Inhale, one cobra here. Exhale, come down. Tuck the toes. Power it up to your strong plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. And we'll come back onto the elbows here, coming right into dolphin pose. So maybe you're letting the crown of the head hang down as you press into the elbows, pressing the heart back toward the thighs. Maybe you're bending into the knees so that you can get the hips higher. And you can stay right here, or you can add a little bit of a shoulder press to it by shifting forward. Tap the chin between your thumbs and take it back. Take it with your breath, nice and slow. Last one. And then we'll bring the knees down. Take child's pose. It might feel nice to place your hands under your forehead here. And just let the shoulders rest and relax. With the elbows wide, you might even enjoy wrapping the hands back toward the heels. Whichever one feels good. Breathe into the back body. Now we're going to do a little bit more flow. We'll come back to that later. Walk the hands to the top of the mat. You're going to make your way to downward facing dog. Digging into all 10 fingertips. Inhale, sweep the right leg high. Exhale, step it knee to nose. Inhale, press it up and back. Take that 2 more. Exhale, dome into the upper back. Hip shift forward. Inhale, press it up and back. Last one, knee to nose. Notice how far over your wrist your shoulders are. You're actually over your fingertips. Round into the upper back. And then just place the right foot down. Rise up, high crescent lunge. Exhale, release the hands down by your back. Inhale, open through the chest. Be careful not to just flare out the ribs here. You want us to lengthen into the tailbone, so you might even bend into the back knee. Inhale, open. Exhale, bow forward. So we do this a lot in Warrior One. So if your balance is a little off today, you can always plant that back heel down and come into that humble warrior. But if you're challenging here, keep the back heel lifted. Let go of the weight of the head. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then release the hands to the earth. Step up into a half. What is this? This is an L stand. So left toes reaching down toward the earth. If you can get your hands to the earth and you look back toward your left toes, see if you can lift them up a little higher. Think this is very similar to our 3-legged dog. We just have a lot less space between our hands and that right foot. So right here where you are, shift your gaze down to your hands, press into both hands. Exhale, round left knee behind right, little kundalini squat. Inhale, sweep it back and up. Exhale, round. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, round. Last one to sweep. And we'll step it all the way back, open up, Warrior Two. Breathing here. Exhale, set your gaze just beyond those right fingertips and lean back. Somebody who cares about you, somebody who's always got your back is standing there. Lean into them. Be heavy. Be supported. Flip the front palm in reverse. Stretching into the front of those intercostal muscles. Stay committed to the bend in the right knee. Breathe in. And exhale. Cartwheel it all the way down. Right hand to the floor, left hand to the sky. Maybe you step up into a half moon. Maybe you come into that full shavasana, bending into that left knee. Breathing into the thighs, you take it in. You can have your gaze down toward that right hand, especially if your balance is wonky. If you're feeling super sturdy here, you might try to slowly shift your gaze up to the sky. I'm tempted to try it here, but my balance is kind of shaky, so I'm gonna stay down. As you release, try not to slingshot. Both hands reach the earth. Square off your hips. Maybe you try one little handstand hop if that would feel fun to you, or just press into your hands and try to float your right foot to the back for chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Breathe in, and let it go. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, knee to nose. Again, really planching forward. Inhale, press it up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. One more up and back. And exhale, knee to nose. Try to make contact. And then shift your gaze and then plant the foot. Rise up high, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands back. And releasing the fingers, opening through the heart. And then we'll take that bow. And again, plant the heel if you want more stability. It might just feel better. That's totally fine. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Coming on back up. And exhale, hands to the earth. Standing L shape here. And again, take a look back, look at your right toes, they're reaching down toward the earth. Notice if that right hip is lifted, even if you have kind of a lot of mobility in that hip, and you can lift the hip and still drop the toes down. You know, be honest with yourself here. Can you drop to make sure that the pelvis is nice and level here? And then lift the heel a little higher. Breathe it in. Exhale, Kundalini squat, right knee behind left. Inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, tuck it in. Inhale, press it back. And last one, tuck it in. And we'll step it all the way back. Open up, warrior two. Breathing here. Lengthening the tailbone down. You know, this idea of practicing at home is so much more about that svadhyaya, your self-study, because you don't have a teacher right there to come over and correct you or give you like gold star, right? Like this is about you being honest with where you are and where you could try a little harder, where you need to ease up. Take your breath, steady. Exhale. Inhale to reverse. Hold for the exhale. One more inhale. And exhale, curling it down, finding your standing half moon. Choosing where you need to be here. This side might ask for something different. Maybe you bend into that knee for shavasana. Maybe you're like, maybe it's not gonna happen today. Maybe you're just reaching for it. Now, honestly, I could probably crank it out and make it happen, but my left hamstring has been giving me problems, so I really want to honor that. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's my honesty here. Last breath here. Exhale to release both hands to the mat. Find that standing split. And again, you can play with a little handstand kick up here, or you can try to take a little baby hop and float the left foot to the back for chaturanga. So you're gonna catch yourself with those bent arms, heart shifts forward. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in high into the toes, roll it forward. And exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. Maybe take one more of those if it feels good. And now we're gonna play with a little bit more of dolphin and pincha. So we've already played with some chin dips here. That's gonna help you strengthen the back of your triceps a lot more and your shoulders. You can do that even in table two. So wherever you are, you know, you can probably get a lot more reps out of it if you're on your knees. Might give you a little bit more of a boost. If you are feeling like playing, like going up, sometimes if you're somewhere in between, you might try to bring the hands together. You might just bring the hands toward each other, keeping them flat, and make a triangle with your hands. Wherever you are. I mean, I recommend just keeping the arms parallel because you're going to try to work them back in that direction anyway once you get your feet up in the air. So might as well just start from there. So once you get your hips high and you walk your feet in, and you have taken, you're letting your neck hang out low, pressing the hips away from the floor. And now here's where we're going to shift your gaze down, and maybe one foot comes to the sky. Try to get the hips high, 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 and then maybe come down. Maybe you try the other side, hips get high. Maybe you start floating one foot up. Maybe you kind of do a little bit of hops there. You want to keep your gaze down in between the arms. And so those are really the best tips that I have. I don't really recommend kicking up into the wall here because, you're not really building the strength in your shoulders that much. But you could try like an L stand on your forearms, right? If that would feel, something like it would give you some information, right? Like all we're doing is gathering information. So maybe you walk the feet up. And you can maybe pretend that I have an L stand here. I'm a little too close to the wall. So what I would say with that is try different things. It's hard to, not get some feedback from you here. So I'm just gonna give you those options and let me know how they go. If you, want to take a video of yourself and send it to me, that's also a really great form of communication. But try for a little bit and we'll play around. And then we're gonna kind of chill it out. Maybe we'll take, let's see, we can take 30 more seconds to play. All right. And now we'll just come on down to our hands and knees. Let's do some cat and cow and just kind of work it out here. Organic movement, big dancing line with the hips. And then come to a seat. Just help to open up the outside of the hips really quick. And now, deer pose. I've got my left shin toward the front edge of the mat. Right knee is bent out at about 90 degrees. So even here, like I've got some, tightness in the front of this hip. So I know that this is probably the better one for me. But if you want to take your full pigeon, you'll lean forward, walk that right leg back, and then make sure that you are picking up your weight and like putting it back down nice and squared. So again, be honest about how square your hips are here. Use the back foot to, you're like tucking the toes under to lengthen the knees straight back. And again, you can stay right here. You can come on down. And like I said, I'm going to bend into my knee for a little bit more ease with that. If you want to level it up, if your hips are, interested in playing with your double pigeon, you'll come up Sweep your right leg around and stack shins right on top of each other. So you'll want your right ankle right on top of the meaty part of your left knee. You might have some space between your right knee and your left foot. You might be able to come flat down. You might like a blanket or even a block or something under there to create more of that grounding texture we need. And so this is your double pigeon. Those three options, all really, they're all the same. They're all targeting into the hips, but depending on where you are needing the attention today, you'll pick the option that best suits you. And then try to take your intention, your focus of your breath deep within. Listen to the sound of your breath. Notice how it feels traveling through your body. Where might it feel stuck? Where can you physically adjust yourself to create more space for that free-flowing energy, that free-flowing breath? We'll take 2 more breaths here. And when it's time to release, if you've taken double pigeon, you'll sweep that right leg back into that deer shape. If you've taken the full sleeping pigeon, we'll all start to lift up. And then roll to the outside of your left hip. Both hands behind you as you rock the knees up and over. Just allowing some of that juice to get back and flow through the hips. Lifting through the chest will help you get a little bit more of a tushy massage. And then we'll set up the other side. You can just switch it to the back of your mat. That feels cool. Or you can just take it to face the front of the mat. Now we have the right leg, shin parallel to the front of the mat. And you know, it doesn't always have to be parallel. You know, whatever feels better to you. The closer to parallel it's going to be more intense. So if you want it less intense, walk that heel back. Choose if you want to stay in your deer pose, shape with your legs as you come down. Or if you want to stretch that left leg long. Or if you'd like to take double pigeon, try that one. Sweeping the left leg around, stacking it here. And allowing the breath to become all you think about, right? Just the breath, how it travels through, how it feels coming into your body, the temperature of it, the quality of it. And just see if you can grow a little softer, a little heavier in whatever shape that you've chosen. Especially when I'm in one of these like tighter, you know, my hips just are pretty tight. So when I'm in one of these shapes that are a little bit more intense for me, it's really a good time for me to remind myself, you know, that I am here by choice. Like I create this time for myself so that I can, you know, do the hard stuff, right? So that I can look behind the curtain. You know, and sometimes it's a little difficult, sometimes it's a little uncomfortable, but I know from my own experience of practicing for a long time that, you know, the rewards are great. You know, the poses don't matter, but I become more able to sit with discomfort in real life. It's all transmutable, all connected. Take about 2 more breaths here. Let them be on purpose, very intentional. And when it's time to release, all meet in that deer shape, sitting upright. Leaning to the outside, rocking the knees up and over. And then we're going to just bring the feet together, hug the knees to the chest, a little seated child's pose, round the nose into the knee. Take a big, big breath here. And let it go. As you start to set yourself up for Shavasana, make sure you have all of the props that you like. And I like to roll up a blanket underneath my knees, especially this time of year when things are getting a little cooler. I like to, wrap up in a blanket or my sweater. And just let yourself come on down. Allow the body to soak in the earth. Let as much of you touch the earth as possible, and remind that though things might feel a little tricky sometimes in the world, it's always worth it to spend a little bit of that extra time and energy to remember the earth, to remember grounding the body into the breath, into the heart. Take a deep, deep breath in. And exhale, letting it go.